Hello, hello. Welcome to A VO's Journey and A VO's Journey podcast. My name is Anthony. This show is all about helping the new and upcoming voiceover artists grow their business, sidestep all the crazy things that I seem to be stepping on. It is great to be back. May 28th. Man, we are like in summer almost. I mean, we are here. Kids are almost done with school. I think they've got like a week and a half left. Also, I hope you had a wonderful Memorial Day. It was a blast. Spent it with my family. Had a little cookout. It was a lot of fun. And but then what was crazy was last night we had this crazy, like, super severe thunderstorm, and we had little, like, branches down everywhere. It was pretty crazy. So everything's okay. We had to go check on the horses. We had, like, some floods going through our yard. It was dropped so much rain and wind in a short period of time, but it passed, and we lost power for a bit, which we all ended up playing Uno. After that, we played a couple games, and power came back on. So it ended up being a really great evening, and I hope you had a wonderful evening with your family as well. I'm super excited to be talking to you today. And you know, real quick on a side note, we are doing we still have our special over on A VO's Journey Elite Academy. VO's Journey Elite Academy. I decided to keep it going a little bit longer. I think that we've had such a great outpouring and interest, and I know everybody might not have had the chance because they were busy with family, so probably going to keep it up another day or so. You never know when I'm going to take it down, so head over there and check out. We've got the great deals going on, 30% off, plus only $24 to try us out at A VO's Journey Elite Academy. So, go ahead and, really kind of dive into that. Don't don't miss it. Don't miss it there. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about today's topic, which is we're talking about your voiceover niche. What is it that you're good at? What is your voice good for in voiceover? And I get asked this question a lot. People will say, Anthony, you heard my voice. What do you think I should do? What do you think I would be good at? And I want to talk to you guys about that, about kind of being, starting to choose where you want to go and some of my thoughts on the topic and maybe some tips for you on how to pick the best place for yourself. But before all that, I have to first start off by saying that, for everybody, including myself, or anybody who tells you what you can and also, more importantly, what you cannot do, take their advice, of course, but in the end, you will determine always what it is that you end up doing. Whether, you might be like, I want to do this, and people are like, I don't think your voice is good for that. You might say, I don't care, I'm going to do it anyways, right? I mean, like, there is that part. There's the human element part, the part of your ambition, your desire, your dreams that only you can do, right? No one else is going to be able to tell you that you can't do something. You can do it. Now, I do think that throughout the thousands of voice actors I've worked with now and all the voiceovers I've done and the time I've been in the industry, there's definitely you get a feel, an ear for certain types of voice styles, cadences, pitches, timbre, right, of styles that the industry likes. What I mean by that, like, people want to hire, that specific voice for this specific ad or spot or narration. You know what I'm saying? I think a perfect example would be when you're talking, when you listen to a documentary, right? If you think about documentaries, when you're hearing it, you usually hear, all right, a voiceover style that is, first and foremost, you want to think of something that a person that has wisdom, right? A person who knows what's going on. Clearly, they're documenting the story. They're telling you the story. And we want to be able to listen to their voice. It soothes us at the same time. You think about Morgan Freeman, right? You think about Attenborough. You think about all of these people, who have these just incredible, soothing. And I hate to say it, a lot of times they're older sounding voices, meaning they've got a little more grit in their voice, and we call it wisdom. But I think a lot of it is a slower pacing, a deeper pacing a lot of times. Or I mean, deeper pacing, a deeper tone, right? A deeper pitch. It's not always necessarily true, but it is, and you think of very style. Like think about the perfect style in documentary or not the perfect style, but the style when we listen to like true crime. Right. That, and we kind of got that. It's interesting because in our industry, there were pioneers in certain areas, you know what I mean? Of voiceover. And we've taken those kind of pioneers and it's spawned an entire, I don't know, expectation almost for what that voice style sounds like. I mean, I think we can name a couple, right? I mean, the first one that always comes to mind, right, is In a World, right? we know that voiceover style. We also know the voiceover style for the true crime voiceover styles. We also know, where they had that very popular TV show for such a long time, and the no nonsense type of voice. This is how it was back then. You know what I mean? Like it very, and you call it announcery, but it's not necessarily announcery. It's just very to the point, very stylized. And it was those people who kind of set the tone for certain things in the industry. Now, as time has gone on, right, we have changed or we have, branched out, all of us, and wanting different types of voices to do different types of things, no doubt. But a lot of that stuff still holds true. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's important to look at the industry also in certain areas of things that you want to do and be aware that some of those things haven't died. I mean, even movie trailers, right? Which we were just talking about, like Don LaFontaine, right? Those have not changed that much. I mean, I think movie trailers, as we've come, have become less dependent on voices. You know what I mean? And they spend more time on the clips from the movie as opposed to just the trailer, right? But they still use voice actors who have that voice style, right? I mean, I think, to me, Brent Allen Hagel is a perfect example of that, right? He's got that voiceover style that is very in tune with, promos, trailers, that types of things. That voice style sounds like it belongs there, which he's crafted and worked on for years and years and years, and done so many voiceovers for such huge movies and television shows, et cetera, right? But the point is those. So I guess where I'm going with this is that don't think, first off, that any of these things have died, right? Like these voice styles have died, right? That a niche that you want to go into, it's not that way anymore. We were so swept away with the conversational voice style that it's become kind of like Google, right? It's no longer, a what is it? It's like almost like a verb, or it's become more than just an idea, a request, a thought. Okay, it's now part of what we do. You know what I'm saying? It's become more than just an idea. So conversational voice acting is kind of the way we all try to voice act, which probably was started, right? We can go all the way back to the change in acting in general, right? From Stanislavski, right? From the stage and the movie screen and voice acting, right? That switch from being that faceless voice or announcer to someone who's real. Okay, a real person, real thoughts and feelings and emotions. But the deal is, and this is what's very interesting, and this is what I also want to press upon you, there's so much that's still going on there with the announcer style voice, with the trailer style voice, with the documentary style voice, with these styles that are still built on these pioneers who created, and I don't want to say a stereotype, but it's very much a stereotype, but it was a stereotype that they made how they did it. Do you know what I mean? So we now kind of stereotype based off of that style. You know what I mean? So that's something that you can, if you are good at that, if you're good at being an announcer, we still use announcers. Do you know what I mean? Donnie Barnes has a great announcer voice and does a lot of announcer stuff for sports channels, things like that. You've got a lot of voice actors who still utilize these styles and are paid for them, because I think that, we as whether it's an ad, like we as purchasers and stuff, nostalgia is very big. And we like to hear things that remind us of something. All right. But also these methods of doing voiceovers play an important role in all different industries. So where am I going with all of this? So choosing your niche or the area in which you are going to do a voiceover, right? It boils down to, do you enjoy? And there's two parts to this, right? Do you enjoy doing a certain thing? I tell you, so many voice actors today, all of them want to be video game voice actors, right? They want to be character voice actors. They want to do video games. They wanted to do anime. A lot of the younger voice actors, that's what they want to do. And then rightly so, right? We grew up on these cartoons, these animations, playing video games. It's a ton of fun. Okay. But some of them really do have incredible voices, incredible impersonations, characters. So that's one thing. But the thing with video games, remember, is that is, again, very stylized. So if you have like a voice, you know what I mean? Like I do, I just did a pirate the other day for a game on Steam, people putting their game on Steam. And so I did a voice and I had a live directed session just the end of last week. And, that was a lot of fun, but I do a pirate voice. So, I was able to do that because of that voice style that I have. Right. So you're going to be able to be hired for things if you do have certain styles and characteristics. So if you have that documentary voice, right, you have that wisdom, that I've been around the block, I've been beat down, I've learned a lot, and you can hear that in someone's voice. It's weathered, meaning it's slower. All right. There's a little more grit. There's a little more gravel in the voice. You can hear it in someone's voice, right? We call it wisdom. I think it's just your voice is tired because you've been around, you've been doing the thing that you need to do for a long time. It's funny. I think is that, we can hear these things. It's incredible. I think it's incredible how we, as humans, can hear and understand certain things without seeing them. And we make, or we can imagine it in our minds. It really is incredible. Anyways, the point is that, you have that, you have announcers, you've got, think about the people who do the automotive ads, right? Especially the local ones, come on down to Jimson Ford today, those are still those are going on all over the country a lot, nonstop. And then they the other pioneered, where it's like, I got my Ford, and I drive through the mud a lot. There's it. That kind of commercial comes out, but we still have the announcer type commercial. You have all of these styles. So if you have a style that you like, and you feel like this is something I want to do, okay, great. That's the first part. You have fun with it. The second part is, does your voice actually fit it? So I think there's two things to this. One, some people just bring that with them when they start in voiceover, meaning like they've messed around for years, they've played around, they've had fun. Like when I did voices, it was just something that I'd always been a character, if you will, right? I was always the class clown in school. I was got in trouble a lot for joking around and being silly all the time. And, it wasn't good at that time, but it served me well later in life. So like I brought to my voice acting a lot of types of voice styles that I could draw upon, okay, immediately. And you're going to have that. And then, but the second part of that is there is the side that you're going to have to create them. Okay. And I think this is at the heart of all of this, is that if you want something bad enough, you can create it. Meaning, like, you can practice, all right? You can create that voice style that you want to do. A perfect example of this is impersonations. You know, if you ever go online and you search for how to impersonate someone or whatever, there's all these people who talk about, you know, their methods of starting to learn how to impersonate someone. Do you know what I mean? And things like that. But if you think about what we're doing, I mean, we really are creating impersonations of, whether it's a stereotype, whether it's an archetype, a style. You can call it any name you want. But in the end, we are taking what somebody or a group of people or a lot of people have done, and we're crafting our own version of it. And I think that this is, and I probably I think to myself, I should have got this at the beginning, but this is probably the most important part of this whole video. So if you're stuck in, or podcast, if you're sticking around, if you stuck around, this is it right here. To me, the most important part here is that so often people, voice actors, they're not willing to admit that they have not built the style yet that's probably going to make them a crap ton of money. And furthermore, they need to work on creating it. It's not been created by them yet. Okay? You know, you hear that you need to find your voice. Well, it assumes that it was lost. I mean, to me, that makes it feel like, well, what was it lost? I lost it. No, a lot of times what we're saying actually is we need to craft your voice style. You've got to craft it. You've got to create it. You've got to take who you are, what you've done, and turn it into something, right? That's what I'm trying to get at with this. So anyways, I hope that this has helped today. Craft your voiceover, all right? And make sure you check out VO's Journey Elite Academy again, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.